development of these flow standards that exist now is kind of based on the history that we're looking back at and trying to predict. So what elements, or how do we modify our approach to developing flow standards that take into account this moving foundation of flow, hydrology, climate, etc.?
May I just shout out from the parking lot? One of the things you asked us to speak to you, what has changed since 2010? And a lot. We've gathered a lot of information. The system out there has also changed. A lot of science is going on. We can anticipate some major changes. I have a particular soapbox about quagga is going to be here soon, and we should be doing something about building a system that can adapt to quagga. I seem to be shouting in the parking lot on that one also, but oh well. But the system is changing rapidly. Our knowledge of the system is growing rapidly, and the basin plan approach and the state boards revisiting that, not on a triennial basis, but it has been on a 17 to 20 year basis, is probably not going to keep up with the needs of the estuary and the changes in the estuary and our knowledge of the estuary. So that would be my shout from the parking lot, that that approach, that stationarity, isn't going to work. I mean, I would be happy to say that once sea level goes up a meter, trying to get an X2 at 65 under controlled circumstances is probably not going to work. Until then, that may be a useful tool. So there's some timing and anticipation. I love Jim Cloran's talk about the need to both get contingencies that you expect to use sometime in the future when you need to, such as when quagga get here, and anticipating those changes. They're both very different than the basin planning exercise, but I think that they are the future.
Okay, we are going to have a substantial amount of time at the end of tomorrow to follow up on these questions and other questions.
Well, but some of the board members do have more questions. Okay. So can this group stay here, come back here after the break, and then we can ask a few more questions?
If you want, but that would be cutting into the Fish and Games time. But we could take that out of lunch. So.
But we could also go longer today if the board desires, and that's workable for all of the participants. Yeah.
Great.
I think that would be very helpful because we're not going to have this group together
forever. That's correct. So
yeah.
let's take a short break and come back at 11, and you guys can come back and sit up here, and then we'll work the schedule as we go.